Hey everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we have the Inno Tire Hold HD dual wheel mount bike rack, and we're going to take a look at how it fits on our 2021 Toyota Highlander. So the Tire Hold HD is going to be your dual wheel mount rack, which means that there's zero frame contact, plus something unique to this is its extra high weight capacity of 80 pounds for your bikes. Now for your total, try not to go over 150 pounds and then have your heaviest bike towards your Highlander. Now when focusing on the Highlander though, there are some different things when it comes to the fit, like how this does not tilt down far enough in order to open up your hatch, and depending on your hitch receiver, you may or may not be able to use the anti-rattle bolt. So we'll talk about that in this video. The first thing is going to be that tilt away feature. Pull this lever here, drop this bike rack down. The angle for how it drops down isn't that steep, and you can see here with our Highlander, we'll stop the door right here manually, and then lift it up to see that with our longer handlebars of our mountain bike, this is about as much space as we can get that door open. Still helpful for grabbing whatever items we might have stored behind our car, but not giving us full access isn't as ideal. If you had a road bike though, or maybe some shorter handlebars, you might be able to clear, but there really wasn't that much clearance. Lifting this up, it snaps into place, and then you are ready to drive. So what types of bikes can you carry with this? Well, if you have a heavy 80-pound electric bike, totally fine. If you have a step-through bike, or if you have a really nice frame, those are okay too, because this holds on to the front and the rear wheels, also making it easier for you to load your bikes up and take them off. The downside to the Highlander is the hitch sits pretty high up, so that's a lot of height you're going to have to lift those bikes. I recommend taking a look at the Inno Tire Hold ramp as an add-on. So I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's remove our bike. I first press the levers just to loosen up those mounts, and then I can push them up out of the way just from here. Once that's done, I can then grab the bike and go. There's also an alternative option where you can remove these levers holding those wheel mounts in place, and that way you can just ramp the bike down. That could be a good option for those heavier bikes, but notice how high this has to drop. If this was pretty heavy, that might be a little tricky to do, and that's when I recommend getting the separate ramp to add on to this, sold separately here at etrailer. Now I'm going to put this bike away so that we can take a closer look at the bike rack. Notice there those trays and the different grooves in them. The trays are great because then you can move your bikes back and forth just to get the best fit between the two, but the maximum tire width you can carry with these trays is going to be up to 3.5-inch wide tires. So that is something to consider if you have a fat bike or fat bike tires. This may not fit you. Let's put this back and listen to it ratchet down, and that's how it secures your bike. Now, this will take up a bit amount of room behind your vehicle, so we'll take some measurements to see exactly how much. I like to measure from our plastic bumper to the end of the rack. It sits almost perfectly at 36 inches or 3 feet. So if you have a small garage or need to fit into a tight spot, the Highlander is already a bigger vehicle, so that is a measurement to remember. The next one is how high are you lifting your bikes up? So from the ground to that tray, I have it at 25 inches, a little over 2 feet. Ground to shank, that's 13.5 inches. So it's a decent amount of height to get that up and to lift your bikes on to the rack. The next measurement we're gonna go for is our compact position. So you can either fold your rack up like this or make it even more compact. Let's take a quick look at our hatch clearance here. Notice how in that 3/4 position, we're able to fully open up our hatch. So that's something helpful for if you need to put away groceries or hang out in your cargo area. It's very easy to make those adjustments, and you can always fold this back up into the portable position. Measuring from our bumper to the end of the rack, that now sits at 16 inches of space this takes up behind your vehicle, and the closest point is going to sit at 5.5 inches from the bumper to our wheel mount. Looking at that hitch though, there is something worth taking a look at, and that's how this has 2 anti-rattle mechanisms. So the first is going to be this knob over here. This reduces our up and down movement because it tightens down a wedge on the bike rack. So I have that tightened down very securely. The other one is going to be your anti-rattle bolt, and this secures your side-to-side movement. Because our hitch receiver has a bracket that's in the way, I wasn't able to fully tighten down that bolt, so we do still have a little bit of shake. You're still able to attach the clip though, so we do know that it's not going to be popping out anytime soon, but I really wish I was able to fully utilize all of the features of this bike rack on the Highlander. So that's something worth considering. But if you do have a different hitch receiver, you might not have that problem. So with that being said, the Inno Tire Hold HD is a really solid bike rack. You get that 80-pound weight capacity, and you have a very easy way of loading your bikes up. The downside is clearance. With our Highlander, we weren't able to tilt it down far enough to open up the hatch completely. Plus, we weren't able to fully secure it into the hitch receiver using the second anti-rattle method. So hopefully this video helped explain that. If you're looking for alternatives, something that might be a little bit more affordable with less features is the Swagman E-Spec. Same weight capacity, also has locks. The downside is it does take a little bit more hassle to get your bikes on compared to the quick and easy method of the tire hold. So definitely pros and cons to every bike rack. This is definitely a solid choice for those heavy electric bikes. This is a look at the Inno Tire Hold HD, and you saw it on the 2021 Toyota Highlander.